संतोख थाप रखया जिन सूत, तौल तरम दया का पूत, संतोख थाप रखया जिन सूत. But as well as a mother, there's also a father. As well as compassion, there is also contentment, santokh. Santokh is contentment. Thap rakhya means this is what binds the whole universe together. Thap rakhya, this jin soot. Soot is from the word sutar, which is the system, the rules, the maryada. This is like a thread that is completely interwoven into the fabric of the universe. So dharam is the blanket of the universe, and it is sewn with two threads, with compassion and contentment. Now that sounds great, but what does it mean for us? Yeah? It always has to make sense to us. Otherwise, we're talking about the whole universe being loving and all that. So, okay, fine. What do I do with that? If this is the description Guru Nanak Dev Ji is giving of the universe, then part of that universe means it's a description of you. At the very root of you is compassion. At the very root of you is contentment. And we've covered these concepts before. When we talked about the mind and the stages of the mind, manne surt hove man buddh, we had a deep conversation around the layers of the mind: intelligence, memories, awareness, self-identity. We talked about these layers of the mind. And we talked about issues. Suffering also exists in the mind. Suffering isn't at the core of who you are. At the core of who you are is contentment. Hatred is also not inside you. Hatred is in the mind. At the very root of who you are is compassion, friendliness, lovingness. And we can see this in babies. Babies whose minds haven't been developed, they are just content. Yes, they need to be fed. Yes, they need milk. Yes, they need food. Yes, they need to be changed. Yes, they need sleep. They can get very cranky at times. But at times when they have all those needs fulfilled, you'll notice they're ecstatic. They're just looking around and they're so happy. The smallest things makes them completely just elated, delighted. And how much hatred does a baby have? It doesn't know how to hate because it doesn't have a mind to hate. It doesn't know how to hate because it doesn't have a past yet. You can only hate something that's happened to you in the past. They don't have a past. They're in the present moment. They don't have any fears either because they don't live in the future. They live in the present moment. And this is the core of what you are. Everything else that you think you are has come later on. And this is when you start building this nice little fortress around you. My name, my identity, my family, my likes, my dislikes, and very soon, before you know it, identity, ego has been created. And that superficial layer is where all these things exist. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, at the root of who you are is daya and santokh, compassion and contentment. And just as your body has certain things that it needs food, it needs shelter, it needs sustenance. In the same way, your physical body has needs. In the same way, your spiritual body, which we talk about suksham sarir, your subtle body, your deeper subconscious, your atma, whatever you want to call it, that also has sustenance that it needs. And that sustenance is these 5 good qualities. Dharam is what it needs. This is what you were born to do. You were born to realize this dharam, this natural way of the world. But you can't have dharam without daya. There is no religious way of living that doesn't have compassion. Compassion is religion. Compassion is spirituality, and contentment is religion. If you are religious without compassion, then you are not religious. You might look religious on the outside, but within the inside, there is no religion inside you. There is no dharam inside you. There is no spirituality inside you. So you have these two things inside you, yeah? You have daya, compassion, and santok, contentment. How do these manifest? How does compassion manifest? If you are compassionate towards others, everything you do becomes a seva, service for others. So your inner compassion is manifest outside as seva. Living in a way that your whole life is seva. That is how you manifest your compassion, your daya. And how do you manifest your tranquility, your contentment? One is external, which is seva to the outside world. How do you do seva within yourself? That santok within yourself is manifest as simran. Seva for the outside world, simran for the inside world. Compassion, contentment. And this is why people say the pillars of Sikhi are seva and simran, because the very root of who you are is also seva and simran, daya, santok. Seva and simran is dharam. That is how you live a religious dharmic life. Service for others and meditation within yourself. Service for yourself. And you notice in the Gurdwara we also have this system. You get two things from the Gurdwara. You get Pangat and you get Sangat. Pangat is your opportunity to serve. Sangat is your opportunity to meditate. So even in the Gurdwara, it's made up of these two things. Seva, Simran, Sangat, Pangat. And the punch that we were talking about, this is where they are. This is the place where they are, where they just merged in Seva and Simran, in Daya, in Santok all the time. This is their way of life. They are constantly serving, all the while being content within themselves. Contentment internally and compassion externally. See these as two wings that you need to fly. To elevate yourself to dharam, you need two wings. Internal, tranquility. External, seva, humility. So this is how you are, and this is the root of the whole universe. Tol dharam daya kaput santok thap rakhya jinsut. This is the stability, this is what holds the universe up. Not a mythical bull. And one who understands this will obtain that ultimate truth, that ultimate, stable, permanent truth. Jeko bujhe hove sachiar. If you understand this, you will get that ultimate truth. See, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is really simplifying the whole of the mystery of dharam down to these simple things. If one understands this, Jeko bujhe, bujna means to understand, hove sachiar. They will get that truth that they're looking for. That you need dharam in your life. Dharam is made up of daya and santok. Now, this sachiar that we're talking about, sach, we're not talking about honest living here. We're not talking about a life that's just devoid of lies and cheating. That's not such. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about knowing the truth and living by that truth. Understanding the permanent nature of the universe and living by it. changing your way of living and connecting your identity with that identity. Remember, in the very first Pauri, Guruji helped us by posing this question, how do we become sachiar? How do we get this? Give sachiara hoye. We learned right at the beginning. Give kude tutte pal, hukam razai chalana. So hukam, living in the natural system, the way everything is, be in that. Now Guruji is explaining, this is what these things are. Yeah? Hukam, this is dharam, this is the way it is. So if this is the system, let us address this idea of this bull. Let's really nail this idea down, Guruji is saying. Tavle upar keta par. Let's just analyze this idea for a moment. Let's say for a moment that the earth is held by a bull. The earth that we're walking on is being held up by a bull. Guruji asks this question, how can this one bull hold this entire weight of the whole planet? Okay, there's a bull who's carrying the whole earth. What's he standing on? Tarti hor. There must be another ground that that bull is standing on. And then if he's standing on a ground, who is supporting that ground? Guruji is really throwing this question back at them. And they might actually come back and say, yes, the bull is supported by a ground, but the ground that he's standing on is supported by another bull. If it's another bull, then he is standing on something. You see, it becomes an infinite loop. The word hor here is singular, it's not plural. It's got an onkar. So he's saying there's at least one more. Tarti hor, and beyond it there's another one, and then another one. Tarti hor, pare, beyond, hor, another and another. Tiste par tale kavanjor. And if you keep going with this argument, what about the very last bull? Who's holding that one up? Tiste par tale, underneath that weight, kavanjor. What is the force that's holding that one up? If they concede that actually ultimately Paramatma is holding up the whole thing, that this divine oneness is holding the whole thing, Guru Nanak is saying, yes, you're right, but he isn't holding just that last bull, he's holding everything. That divine oneness is holding the whole universe up, it doesn't need a bull. So Guruji is really getting people to start to think that if you understand that ultimately there has to be something greater than just some mythical bull, there has to be this greater force. And what about our planet is being held by a bull? What about other planets? What about all the stars and the suns and the moons? Who's holding all of them up? Yeah. And if you understand that actually the power of the universe is holding them up, then you have to understand that that's what's holding everything up.